All right. Good morning, everybody. Early morning crypto talk. Bitcoin. Brandon here from Los Angeles, California on a Sunday morning. Welcome. Hope you guys' weekend has been going good so far. See who we have on so far. We've got Tracy Kubish down in Atlanta with Diana Townsend. Tony Pinkston from Philly. Bethany Gibbs from Seattle. Shane West from Chicago. Alonda Cooper from Nevada. Nicholas Martinson from Europe. Nicholas, I think you're in Sweden, right? What's going on, Jamarge Lopes? I want to make sure you guys hit that thumbs up button for the YouTube page. Mr. Stewart from New York City. As a disclaimer, I'm not a licensed financial advisor to be giving financial advice. I read the news, give my opinion, share a suggestion, and it is up to you to make an informed, intelligent decision on which direction you want to move into. What's going on, Abdul? Abdul was down in Atlanta with Diana. There's 4 rules I live by in the crypto space to have success. Rule number 1, education is key. Education is everything. Rule number 2, never invest money that you cannot afford to lose. Number 3, always get your return on investment back as fast as possible. And rule number 4, where do you see yourself at 3 months, 6 months, a year from now? What are you willing to do to make it happen? Make a decision, take action, find your vehicle, and remain focused. Do not get distracted. There's so many things out there that can distract you in this space. You have limited resources. Now, this is not going to guarantee you success, but it will at least minimize your risk. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the most that we can ask for. And let's go ahead and get screen share going. To me, that's one of the tightest beats of all time. Quiet Storm. In fact, there's a number of them from the 90s. I still live like I'm in the 90s. So let's pull this up. First things we do is we look at the charts. We look at the markets. See what's going on here. Oh, last night, looks like crypto market has jumped by $5 billion. Total market cap, $115 billion. Bitcoin dominance, 54.8%. So that new money that came, looks like half went to Bitcoin and the other half went to the other altcoins. If we look at, you see most things are in the green. We got Bitcoin, half went to Bitcoin, is up 6.36%. Ripple, 4%. Ethereum, 7.9%. Stellar, 4.5%. Bitcoin Cash, 8.3% up. Tether is over $1. I don't remember the last time I saw that. EOS is up 11.5%. That's interesting. Bitcoin SV is down 2%. So Bitcoin Cash is rebounded from Bitcoin SV's mini dominance. Let's see here. The best performers: ALF, Bitcoin Private, NXT. See anything? Basic Attention, EOS, Electronium is up 11.5%. Now, those of you that was on Jairus's webinar yesterday, Saturday training, one of the coins he highlighted was Electronium. He didn't tell you to go buy it. He told you what he was going to do. And since then, it is up 11.5%. So if you had jumped on it yesterday afternoon, you would have already made 11% on your money. I'm just saying. For example, if you had put $10,000 down, you would have made a little over $1,000 in 24 hours. Dash, Decentraland, Siacoin, Binance Coin is up. A lot of double digits. What are the worst performers last 24 hours? Metaverse, Bitcoin SVC. One of the worst performers is Bitcoin SVC. Interesting. There's a war going on right now in the Bitcoin Cash world. Good morning, Barbara. All right. Let's look at it a little closer. Let's see. Bitcoin is back up 7% actually. So coin market cap hasn't caught up yet. Look at that. It's at 6.3. So the trend is it is still on the upward side. Look at that. It squeezed and went up. So I actually have a sell order on right now. I'm sorry, not a sell order. Yeah, did I do that? Oh, no, I know what I'm doing. I'm going to sell again when it hits that 3,800 mark. So when it gets back to that $3,800 mark, I'm going to sell. Why? Because I bought at 37.37 and I want to make a profit. So I was going to take a loss on it and then day trade on it as it's going back up, but I see it already going back up. So we're at 36.18 now. So I'm going to let it keep riding. I'm not going to mess with it at all. I'm going to sit on it. Let it get beyond 37.37, and then I'll make some money on it and continue. So I'll sit. What's the bot doing in here? The bot's got a sell order at 36.57 and a buy order at 35.95. So this bot's making a lot of, whoever's in charge of this or running it or whatever group, making some money. I figure they've made $100,000 over the last week and a half or so. But you got to have money in the game to be able to make money. You know that old saying, it takes money to make money. A couple $100 ain't going to really do it for you. But you can grow your way up. I started with 30. Move my way up. All right, let's go into some articles. Market recovers by $5 billion, but why are Ethereum and Bitcoin Cash plunging? When did this just came out today, December 9th. That's today. That's not what the market's telling me right now. Ethereum is up 7.9% and Bitcoin Cash is up 8.3%. You see how fast things can change? This article just came out. But I will cover to see if there's anything we can glean. It's already old news. It's already outdated. Okay, let's see what they're saying. Over the last 24 hours, the crypto market has added $5 billion to its valuation, demonstrating a slight recovery from $106 billion to $111 billion. $111 billion. It's added 10 billion since. Okay, so I get it. So when this article came out, it was at 111 billion. 4 more billion has been added. That went to the other altcoins. Okay. On December 9th, the Ethereum price fell by around 3% from $97 to $93. What is the price of Ethereum right now? 97. So it has come back up. Failing to sustain the short-term momentum it garnered from an unforeseen recovery it experienced on Saturday. Since its daily peak, Ethereum has declined by more than 6%. Bitcoin Cash has also demonstrated a weakness in its short-term. All right, this is outdated news. None of this matters anymore, and this just came out. Bitcoin will likely survive better in bear market, with large-scale financial institutions like NASDAQ, New York Stock Exchange, ICE, and Fidelity vowing to build infrastructure around Bitcoin first. The dominant cryptocurrency is expected to continue to outperform both major digital assets and small market cap cryptos throughout the bear market. All right. Next up, we have a $1 million bet. Crypto hedge fund wagers crypto to outperform stock market this decade. I agree. While everybody was crying about the crypto market, you realize the stock market lost over the last week and a half? Most average people are not in the stock market, so they don't understand it or see it, but their employers are, the banks are, the government is. Crypto hedge fund wagers to outperform stock market. Morgan Creek puts up a $1 million wager, inviting investors who believe the crypto market won't outperform the S&P 500 to put their money where their mouth is. You know who else did that? The Winklevoss twins and I think Tim Draper. Put your money where your mouth is. Morgan Creek operates an index fund called the Digital Asset Index Fund in partnership with Bitwise Asset Management. The index funds offer high net worth investors exposure to the top cryptocurrencies by market value. The cryptocurrency investment firm is calling the challenge the Buffett Bet 2.0, mimicking Warren Buffett's 2007 decision to bet $1 million that the S&P 500 would do better than a group of hedge funds against asset manager Protégé Partners. Buffett ended up winning the bet before donating his earnings to charity. Likewise, Morgan Creek is calling on any investor who believes the S&P 500 would produce more returns than Morgan Creek's crypto investments over a 10-year period. Co-founder and partner at Morgan Creek, Anthony Pompliano, said whoever's on the other side of the bet has to be either someone bullish on the index fund or someone who believes cryptos are overvalued. This is a combination of our outlook, not only for the upside of cryptocurrencies, but also the outlook on public equities. See, guys, you know, those of you that's freaking out that you might have lost $300 or $400 in value because the crypto market dropped. The big boys are playing with millions, and this dude is betting $1 million that crypto ain't going nowhere. Not only that it's not going to go anywhere, that it's going to outperform the stock market. I always follow what are the millionaires and billionaires doing. Says a lot of people might look at this and just think we're bullish on crypto. But you need to look at what asset we're going up against. Public equities aren't exactly at their all-time highs either, Pompliano argued. While Pompliano and his partners at Morgan Creek are funding their wager with personal funds, you see that? They are putting their money where their mouth is, and not money from the business. The partners are yet to find someone to take up the other side of the bet. Now, with all the critics running around out there, you think somebody might step up if they actually believe what they're saying. Remember what I read about yesterday? That one Bitcoin critic who's been a Bitcoin critic for a decade. If he's so sure on what he's saying, why don't you take this bet up? That's easy money for you, right? But he won't because he doesn't even believe what he's saying. Last month, Pompliano told CNBC's Squawk Box that he believes the price of Bitcoin would level out with an 85% reduction before the price surges to an all-time high. He said that last month. While investor confidence has been drained off the market, Pompliano sees the recent crash as a correction that is expected for a market that was overvalued in December last year. December last year, hold up. Now, I ain't no financial advisor or wizard, but what did I say last year? Let me take a look. Brandon Ivey, December 7th, 2017. Be prepared for a huge market correction. I don't know how far it will correct, but the haters will call it a crash and the bubble burst. It is just a correction. That is when you buy. See, this is why I love Facebook. Only that it records everything you say. That's why you got to watch what you say now, because history can look back and see, were you on the right or wrong side of history? I said this December 7th, 2017. What was the price of Bitcoin December 7th, 2017? Well, let's take a look. Let this pull up for a second. Yeah, I gotta pat myself on the back just for a second. December 6th. Okay, that's close enough. The price of Bitcoin was at $14,441 a coin. What is the price today? $3,677 1 year later. What did I say? Be prepared for a huge, not a little, not a small tad bit, a huge market correction. I knew what was happening, and I said it. It kept, and people actually laughed at me about that at that time. Want to know why? When I had first said that? Because Bitcoin ran all the way up to 19,500 after I said, be prepared for a huge loss. And they were like, B, man, what you talking about, man? Man, Bitcoin keep rising, man. It just went almost $20,000 a coin. You got to look at the big picture. I knew, based on history, that it was going to correct. And it did. So, let's go back to what is happening here. See, I don't need to be a billionaire fund holder to know this. All you need is to have some crypto education. Education will tell you what's going to happen. I'll make another prediction. I might have to post it on Facebook so that it will show a year from now. When the market reverts, it's going to be bigger than it ever was before. It's going to go way past that $20,000 level. And then guess what? It'll have another market correction because those people are going to sell for a profit and wait for it to drop all the way down, and then they're going to buy on the low. That's all. Bitcoin was overvalued in December 2017. There are more sellers than buyers this year, so the price goes down. But there are three things you got to remember. The first is this is a transaction settlement layer. It's the most secure in the world. It's got to be worth something. It can't be worth zero. The second is it's the best performing asset class in the last 10 years, outperformed S&P, Dow, NASDAQ, etc. during the longest bull run. Just be prepared. Nobody can say Brandon didn't say so. It's recorded. I back up what I say. All right. Next up. Do I want to do? No, not that one yet. Andreas Antonopoulos, why Bitcoin is not in a death spiral. Why Bitcoin is not in a death spiral. Over the past month, many reports about the materialization of a potential death spiral on the Bitcoin network were released, leading investors to be concerned about the short-term trend of the dominant cryptocurrency. According to a security expert and cryptocurrency researcher, Andreas Antonopoulos, a death spiral is unlikely to happen in Bitcoin. I agree. On the Bitcoin network, miners find a block filled with transactions every 10 minutes. After 2016 blocks are mined, the network automatically readjusts the difficulty of mining Bitcoin so that if there is less hash power on the network, miners can mine Bitcoin with lower difficulty than if there is more hash power on the network. Then miners can mine the asset with higher difficulty. A death spiral on Bitcoin refers to a situation in which the difficulty of the network fails to readjust after 2016 blocks because the hash power of the network continues to fall at a rapid rate, triggered by existing miners in the ecosystem that leave the space due to a decline in profitability. Full disclosure, I understand maybe 50% of what he's saying right now. I'm learning here. Trying to follow. Whenever they start doing these nerd talks and stuff, my mind kind of zones out, but we got to cover it. Some people assume that if death spiral happens, then a lot of miners will say, okay, I'm not making enough profits anymore because the hash rate has dropped 50%. So I'm going to turn off my mining, which then causes to drop even further, which causes it to go even slower, which causes to drop even further, drop slower, death spiral, difficulty never adjusts. Antonopoulos explains, okay, I get that. However, this phenomenon is unlikely to be materialized on the Bitcoin protocol because miners in the ecosystem operate mining facilities with a long-term strategy. Most major mining centers and facilities obtain electricity and equipment that can be used for years. Miners do not depend on grid operators to meet their demands on a weekly basis, especially in regions like China, where many mining centers operate due to cheap electricity and cold climate. Mining centers have to secure a long-term supply of electricity to maintain their facilities. As such, miners seek for mid to long-term results and profits rather than short-term. So if the hash power of Bitcoin drops and it becomes less profitable to mine the asset as its price falls, miners are likely to continue to operate their facilities until the asset recovers in value and mining becomes profitable once again. Antonopoulos said, part of the reason that's unlikely to happen is that miners have a much more long-term perspective, meaning that they have existing investments in equipment, and they usually purchase electricity on long-term plans. They don't pay it by the week, and therefore, if they have to wait to become profitable another 3 months, and they have the equipment in place, they're not turning it off. A death spiral could occur on a public blockchain network, and it has occurred on small cryptocurrencies in the past. But if the hash power of the Bitcoin network is considered, a death spiral is highly unlikely. I like what he's breaking. He's breaking this down by simple science. Here. Over the past 2 months, the hash rate of Bitcoin has dropped from around 50 exahash to 37 exahash. However, since January of 2018, the hash rate of blockchain network increased from 12 exahash to 37. See, I love that. So on a yearly basis, the hash power of the network has increased more than threefold. This is what critics don't get. Critics always want to look at the measuring stick as December 17th and then moving forward. They don't look at before December 17th when Bitcoin hit its high. That for the majority of Bitcoin's existence, it was less than $1,000 per coin. Only a brief snapshot in history where Bitcoin rose significantly. So even though it's low right now, it is still higher than Bitcoin ever has been in the past 10 years combined. So he's saying, look, yeah, Bitcoin used to be at 50 exahash and dropped to 37, but it was only at 12 exahash at the beginning of the year. So it's threefold higher than it was when they started the year. This ain't going anywhere. You got to have education and know the history. That's why I'm a history buff, political science major. I don't care all about the scientific kind of stuff about it, but this stuff I'm really good at learning. What's the history of it? What's the patterns show? Let's see. Do I want to cover anything else? There is, I know 2 things I'm going to be doing. This one, crypto ICOs and crisis, running out of money. I'll save that one for later. I'm going to be reading this white paper. I'm going to record myself reading this white paper, Declaration of Decentralization. This is a white paper for Meter that looks like it might be my big time pick for 2019. One of my long shots. So I'm going to keep a close eye on that. I do have another article here that I will read another time. Perspective on Bitcoin's value amidst crypto winter. I'll cover this another time. Tonight, however, we will be doing a special training. So it's not going to be late night crypto talk. It will be in our KGX members only group. Let me pull that up. In our members only group tonight, we are going to cover where is it? Here we go. The birth of Bitcoin, Satoshi Nakamoto. It is video 3 in our Bitcoin 101 series. So you can go back and watch that before I come on live, but I'm going to break it down in a little bit more detail, give my opinions and all that, good stuff. And you'll be able to ask questions and we can just chit chat, chop it up. And we'll go over the market as well. We'll see what the price of where everything lands by tonight. The 24-hour high was 36.55. The last price was 36.25. So we're on the high end right now. Still rising. 24-hour low was 3,200. Everything's green. Everything's looking good. How long can this last? We'll see over the next 12 hours or so, or 9 hours. So that is it for today. Hope you guys learned something new. As always, that is the point. See you all tonight. Members only. If you are not a member of KGX, you have time to get started. Shoot me a message or get back with the person who is showing you this. You know what? I'm also going to record another video in the spirit of what Diana has done. Even though I tell my story every day, I'm going to shoot a short video like this. Just, leaders lead by example. You want to hear a success story? How a woman went from not knowing nothing about crypto to making $15K in 60 days? Diana Townsend. Listen to her video. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Bitcoin Brandon out. Bye-bye.